Okay, the holidays come with lots of memories, and often those memories are centered around what foods we traditionally eat. Foods that we love, but for whatever reason, we don't make all year long. We only make them around the holidays. And so I want to share a few of those with you as we move along through these next few days on our Vlogmas. One I'm going to start with tonight is a recipe that was introduced to our family by my Aunt Kathy. Sadly, she passed away this year from long-term illness, and we're going to miss her immensely. And as I was pondering her, thinking about her during this time, I remembered this cake she used to make. I have never made it at all, but I went looking through my recipes and found a recipe for this cake that my mother had handwritten. And so I am so excited to be able to share this with you. And in fact, I contacted my cousins, one of my cousins, and she remembered the cake and loved it, and she did not have the recipe. So I quickly shared it with her so that she could enjoy it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it, occasionally film some of the prep for you, and then talk to you at the end about the results of this cake. Here's the recipe that my mom hand wrote on yellow legal pads. She loved to write on those yellow legal pads. So we have a lot of things that she left for us written down on that. But here is the recipe. I went searching to see, my aunt didn't, I'm sure, make up this recipe on her own. She found it somewhere. And I went looking on the internet to find cakes that matched it, seeing if maybe there was another source. And I found a lot very similar, but nothing exactly like this one. So okay, I tried to record all of the ingredients list for you, and somehow the video didn't come through. So I want to go ahead and tell you what's in there. Actually, I'm going to put the recipe below, but a couple things I wanted to highlight. One is the recipe has a half a cup of oil. I chose to swap that with a half a cup of butter, and better yet, I browned the butter. I just think that when you've got all these spices and the apples, that browned butter just sounds awesome. Additionally, I added the vanilla, and you could use vanilla that you buy, but we actually have vanilla that we made. And in a couple days, we're going to be showing you how to make vanilla as well. All right, the butter and the sugar and the eggs have created a nice fluffy mixture. We're going to mix the dry ingredients before adding them. I feel like such a TV chef with all these little bowls. Although my kitchen's not big and grand like theirs, and I have to hold my own camera. Just do a light mixture to get the salt and the baking soda in particular is what the issue is, to get that incorporated well so that the cake will rise properly. You don't want to have the baking soda somehow not mix evenly. You'll end up with a really bad area, some flat areas of the cake, some weird flavor. So okay, let's go ahead and add that slowly. All right, I want to note that this is a very thick batter. Frankly, it's almost more the consistency of a cookie dough, and the reason for that is there is so much moisture in the apples that will come out that if you don't have a drier batter, then you will end up with a soupy mess. So we're going to go ahead and add our fruits and nuts. And this is going to have to be not using the whisk attachment, but either a wooden spoon or this paddle attachment. Let's try that first. That'll help break up the apples a little bit more as well, having them release some of their moisture even before we put them in the baking pan. Okay, gonna add it to the baking sheets and we'll go from there. I have filled the muffin tins, probably too full. We'll see when it bakes. I'm not entirely sure, since I've never made this, how much it's gonna rise. And then I took the remainder of the batter and put it in a loaf pan because I really didn't want to save it and run the snowflakes through twice. So let's see how this comes out. We are going to put it in the oven for 50 to 60 minutes until a toothpick comes out cleanly. All right, while the cakes are in the oven, we're gonna do our puzzle. And of course, Waffles. She has been watching me. She's been at my feet, hoping something would fall from the counter as I was cooking. She's an odd dog. She does not like the apple. Most dogs like apple, but she didn't care for that. But she still was devoted to me. And here I am coming to do the puzzle, and she came and sat right next to me. So let's go ahead and open number 8 and make today's puzzle. Okay, this says season greetings from Walt's Holiday Lodge, open all winter. And that's the theme this year, is this lodge idea. Walt Disney had some property up in the Tahoe area and was getting ready to develop it, had some ideas and dreams around the time of the Olympics. And so this year they've chosen to give acknowledgement and give a nod to that sort of history of Walt Disney. Much of my love for Christmas ornaments and Christmas decorations in general comes from growing up. My grandparents were phenomenal at bringing all of us family members, my mother and 2 aunts and their husbands, and us 10 grandchildren, to incredible celebrations. And as I've already shared in past videos, they had a massive tree. And I was just always, from a very young age, just so entranced, walking around looking at all the ornaments and just imagining and the wonder. And I definitely recall an ornament that looked very much like this, that had a small nativity scene in this very fragile glass dome on a gold base. And so somewhere along the way, I found this ornament that I'm showing you in a store, and I just had to have it. And I love this ornament. A few years ago, before my grandmother passed away, my grandfather had already passed away, she bundled up a number of her ornaments for the various grandchildren, a few of which I'll show you on other ornament stories, but I want to start with this one. Here is the actual ornament that I recall as a child. Not nearly as beautiful. It's just on paper with glitter, but it still is delicate and has the nativity scene in there. And that is what I believe has just started all my love of ornaments, and I just love these. All right, we're going to do the Bible story right now, the Bible verse, and today's character in the 25 days of the Christmas story is John the Baptist. And if you recall, he is the son of Elizabeth and Zechariah, whom the angel Gabriel had told Zechariah about. Now, John the Baptist was a cousin of Jesus. He was perhaps a little older, but not much. The stories we see seem to be pretty contemporary. Certainly, John the Baptist grew up to go out and be a prophet, and our verse today in Luke chapter 1, verse 17 says, "And he will go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah." Going before him is Jesus. "To turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the disobedient to the understanding of the righteous, to make ready for the Lord a prepared people." And this principle of being prepared, make way, to open our hearts to receive, is such an important concept in the Christmas story. And that was the mission and the role of John the Baptist. Well, this is why I am not a TV chef, because they do test bakes before they actually show anything on camera. I, on the other hand, baked it, and whatever came out, came out. And you know what? I did discover a couple things. One, the snowflake pan is designed for a tighter cake batter. This chunky rustic apple batter is not the best use in that pan, and I didn't judge that properly. In any case, it would look a little better if it was dusted with some powdered sugar. I just haven't done that. But it tastes phenomenal. It tastes so very good. So the 9x13 pan, which the recipe calls for, probably would be better. If you try it, I hope you enjoy it. It's got great fall, Christmas, winter, rustic flavors. It's so good. Well, thank you for joining me on this Vlogmas Day 8. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. Lots of different things to share, especially, those special recipes from the past. And yeah, I'm glad I made this. And I'll have some other things that I've tried before that we'll share a little bit later as we continue on in the month. If you would, just like and subscribe if you have made it this far. I assume you like it. And I would love if you would share it with those, maybe just copy the link, share it on your socials, and say, hey, this guy's doing something fun to lead towards Christmas, and maybe you and your family would enjoy it. I'd appreciate you doing that. Hey, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.